It is a beautiful Saturday today, 14th of March 2025. Welcome to Lumen Morning Diary. I am Henry Mdenda alongside Eugene Johnny Musoka. Eugene, good morning.
Good morning, Henry, and good morning to you, our dear viewers. And we are very excited to know that you are following Lumen Morning Diary today.
All right, today we are running on this exciting topic, which is Zambia's economy in light with increase in oil prices on international market. What's your view and what's your take? Of course, we have a lot of exciting segments lined up for you, ranging from sports segment for those sports lovers. This is the only platform where you get to hear the updates in the world of sports. We have the health segment coming up, which is brought to you by Lusaka School of Health Sciences, where we will be looking at the preventive side of diseases. As we all know that prevention is actually better than cure. This is what you have to expect on this lovely show. Not forgetting the newspaper pick of this day, which is 14th of March 2024. We have to give you what's trending in the world of the social media. Eugene Jan Musoka, which is a very top notch, of course. The beautiful Saturday, the environment, the atmosphere is actually very positive. The temperatures are very conducive in Lusaka.
Indeed, Henry, it is a very, very, very exciting day, especially, in connection with the topic which we have today on this program, a very important topic indeed, which are talking about serious issues, matters connecting to our economy. This has been an anthem for each and every member of this country, and also noting that we're just coming from our Youth Day celebrations, so we still feel the energy, and I'm sure we are going to move smoothly in just the way that you have guided, Henry.
Yeah, of course, not forgetting also we have an exciting part where we need to know our basic needs and how to spend going forward, as we'll be given the food basket, especially in the month of February. This information will be brought to you by JCTR, and this is where we need to know, as a nation, are we moving at the right pace? As we know that this is the time when the farmers have started harvesting their groundnuts. It's available in the market, it's cheap, and JCTR will give us at what prices the food basket have been, especially in the month of February. And this will give us at least an update, at least an instinct to say this is what we expect in the month of March as we run with it.
Indeed, our dear viewers, don't forget that you can also be part of this program by simply calling the numbers that are showing on the screen, or if you cannot do that, you can even send us a direct text message so that you can give us your contribution and view, especially in connection to what we are discussing today. The topic for today is the Zambia's economy in light of increasing oil prices on the international market. So what do tikamba pa nkhani ya lero tikamba pa nkhani ya economy yathu ya muno monga makamaka mwetimvera kuti mitengo za oil kaya kuti ma fuels pa international market yamba kukwera, so tizankhalako na discussion pali nkhani. So kulikonse kumene mulili muli free kutuma phone olokapena kulembako message pa numbers awo yamene yaoneka pa screen yanu ayo. Ngasimu yaona bwino numbers, I think it's akupasani numbers manje will be able to give you the numbers. Kulikonse komuli, don't forget to be part of the program.
All right, Lumen TV Zambia is available on Top Star Channel 101 for those that are watching us through television. Thank you very much for staying glued to Lumen TV Zambia and making a choice to watch Lumen TV Zambia today. And for those that are watching through Facebook, please don't forget to share and like the page. You can also drop us your comment just right there on Facebook. We'll run through those questions, concerns, and also your contributions in line with the topic of focus. Don't forget that The school that is giving us the health segment in on this day is Lusaka School of Health Sciences. You can also come along as we look at these important topics, and today's topic of focus on that one, we'll be looking at non-communicable diseases as we continue where we ended last time, so that you can also learn more on these non-communicable diseases. What we have for you actually is very exciting. It is something that will benefit you directly. Yes, you are very our dear viewer. And also on this platform, we also have the trends, as we all know that we have stories that range from home, communities, and also the nation at large. As Eugene said, we were just celebrating Youth Day. This Youth Day, actually, the President of the Republic of Zambia addressed the youths in Solwezi on a very exciting and very encouraging note. It was very encouraging to see the president actually addressing the youth to say, Midala, maintain your lane. And also,
you know, Henry, I paid very much attention when the president was talking about that. There are two things that he talked about. He said, imawakazi mashuka daddies wakakukanani wakakufunani, make sure that you reject them, and you you as a young man, you would always wonder to say, are we going to marry? Because these ladies of a very own age, you know, are being taken away by the sugar daddies. And you find that what is happening mostly today is because of our very own selfish desires, or maybe let me say the selfish desires in ladies. How can I be going out with a struggling young man? Why can't I just go out with a stable big man who is able to give me everything that I need? So it is a big challenge indeed.
Yeah, of course, in case you missed it, what the president addressed the youths, here is the clip.
And also, you girls, don't accept old men when they make a proposal to you. They will destroy you. They will destroy you. After they abuse you, they will leave you. They will go back to their wives. Look for a young, promising male youth and raise a family together, raise a business, do a business together, and raise your children good and God-fearing children. That is my advice.
Raise your children together and God-fearing man. That was actually on point, because we've seen a lot of young girls being vulnerable, especially those in universities, colleges, and also the school-going children are very much vulnerable, not knowing what's really going on, and what has gone wrong, especially where these old men are competing with young men in terms of going out with young girls.
And I wonder why our big men are following our young men. I don't know the reason why, but I know for the girls, it's because they are looking for money. They are looking for money to go and drink. They are looking for money to go and buy that new dress. They are looking for money, just others. It's because of maybe pressures at home, but I don't think it's a very good reason for us to do that. And the president has made it clear, boss wakakamba nikumvelela. Indeed. So we have got some more stories, Henry, that are trending on social media. We have seen an increase in a number of young people that are committing suicide, Henry. This has continued, especially this year. I feel like, I don't know, we have not received the official statistics yet, but in my own opinion, I feel that this year we have received a lot of, people who are committing suicide. I can tell you in my community where I come from, there are two people who attempted to commit suicide, and one who successfully committed suicide in Mtendere. But there's also this story of a Chipata nurse who was found dead after attempting to take her own life. I don't know if you have heard of the story.
Yeah, I saw that story.
So just to read, this story happened 2 days ago. A 23-year-old nurse of Mwami Adventist Hospital area in Chief Mpezeni's chiefdom in Chipata district had been found dead. The deceased has been identified as Bernadette Nkolongo, Eastern Province Police Commanding Officer Robertson Mwemba, confirmed the incident, saying it is believed to have occurred between 05 hours and 6 hours on March 11, 2026. Mr. Mwemba said earlier in the night, the deceased, who was sleeping in the same room with her cousin Alice Zulu, woke up and attempted to take her own life using a chitenge, but was stopped. He said they reportedly made several other attempts during the night. Mr. Mwemba said around 05 hours, the deceased left the house and did not return, prompting family members to begin searching for her. He said about 6 hours, her uncle discovered a body lying in the shallow furrow in a nearby garden within the farm. So unfortunate story.
So unfortunate story, Eugene. Of course, we also have this weather update that we need to alert our people, especially in the area of Eastern Muchinga province, Northern province, southern parts, and southern part of Wapula province. As today, 14th of March from today, 14th to 20th of March 2026, we expect the weather conditions to change in these specific areas where this information is given by the Ministry of Green Economy and Environment through the Zambia Meteorological Department. We need to monitor, to closely monitor these areas, especially in deep low pressure system that has been developed over northern Mozambique. This system is moving westwards and is expected to extend its influence into the eastern parts of Zambia. As it advances, it is likely to bring continuous rainfall, including periods of heavy downpour during this forecast period. We must ensure that those in low areas, if it's necessary, we can make our movements. And also, the Zambia Meteorological Department under the Ministry of Green Economy and Environment will keep monitoring the weather pattern and sharing timely updates with the public in coordination with the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, DMMU. This weather forecast is actually there for us to take serious precautions, measures in line with our topic of focus as we are looking at the increase in fuel prices, in oil, especially on the world market. Let us hear this important news where Iran launches more missiles to Israeli. Actually, this is something that has really contributed to the increase in oil market, especially where these wars are concerned. Eugene, BBC give us this update where Israeli military says Iran has launched more missiles and has ordered people to take shelter. Strikes were also confirmed by Iranian state-controlled media. It's only a few hours since the similar warning when Iran and Hezbollah launched a joint strike. Emergency service have been tackling a fire on the outskirts and Tel Aviv after Iran Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. So this is actually our topic of focus as we're looking at the oil pump prices. What's your take? Is Zambia safe? Is Africa safe? Where these increase have actually escalated on the world market? Eugene.
Indeed, Henry, it is a very sad story that the war in Iran and Israel, including USA, has continued. And you know that here in Zambia, we are blessed with a number of minerals, but we have not been blessed with oil. And we import this oil from these same countries. So in a situation that we have got this war and this war, I feel like if this war continues, but we are going to hear more from one of our very own father, doctor, coming from the JCTR, who is going to explain more. So don't change the channel, who is going to explain more on what really is going on and the impact that it has on our very own economy. Because I myself, in my own opinion, I don't see this war ending anytime soon. So don't forget, dear viewers, tell us also your take, especially those of you that learned, those of you that understand these things the most, especially when it comes to the economy. We are talking about the Zambia's economy in light of increasing oil prices on the international market and how we are going to be affected. Just recall us and, give us your contribution and what you feel should be the solution. I know these people in leadership are listening. I'm sure they're going to take your advice. So don't forget, the numbers are showing on your screen. You can be part of this program and also send us your text message, even dropping us a comment on our Facebook, Lumen TV Z, will really help. We're going to read it out and we'll see these people in leadership will hear it, and I'm sure they'll be able to take it, and we're going to leave a better nation.
All right, and also for those that are using the Great East Road, this update came yesterday where the Great East Road will be partially closed between Levi Mwanawasa University Teaching Hospital and Manda Hill Flyover Bridge today on the 14th of March. That was between between 06 hours, beg your pardon, between 06 hours to 07:30. I'm sure the road are still closed where doctors are marching for the Health Day walk.
Wow, that is an update coming from. So those of you that usually use, the Great East Road to and from town, you make sure that you find some other alternative roads to use so that you are not usually, inconvenienced.
Yes, Eugene, still in the world of trends, we saw the president of the Republic of Zambia yesterday sworn in Alex Katekwa as health minister and Mufunelo Malama as small and medium enterprise development minister. We have a short clip that in case you missed the swearing ceremony.
The oath of allegiance will start with the oath of office and later oath of allegiance. Repeat after me. I, having been appointed as
Minister of Small and Medium Enterprise Development,
Minister of Health, do swear that I will truly well and truly save the Republic and President of Zambia, that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the President and the Republic of Zambia, that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of Zambia as by law established, and that I will not directly or indirectly reveal or transmit any such information or matter as shall be brought under my consideration or shall be made known to me by reason of my office, except as may be required in the discharge of my duties as such, or with the authority of the President. So help me God. Thank you very much. We'll now proceed to the next oath.
On the same event, the President of the Republic of Zambia has resigned Northern Province Permanent Secretary Bernard Mpundu to Cabinet Office, and also the President has appointed Dr. Tuesday Bwalia as the new Permanent Secretary for Muchinga Province. That was actually a very memorable event, and we saw some changes. In case you missed the earlier information, this swearing in ceremony was followed by the dismissal of the Minister of information, the Minister of Health and also the Minister of Small and Medium Enterprises. These were just replacements. Eugene John Musoka.
Henry, it is very, very interesting to see them. I know those were Bibles we were listening. yeah, very, perfect choices by the president, especially on someone that I know the most, the new Minister of Health. We hope and we pray that things are going to get even better in the Ministry of Health, especially issues of, I want him to address the issues of, the shortages of, medicines in hospitals. I want him to address also the levels of hygiene in hospitals, and also the human resource management in hospitals, and also not forgetting the characters of nurses in hospitals. So much shout as if these people don't get paid.
All right, with this statement from Eugene on the Ministry of Health, and this will see us through on the health segment. Don't change the channel. Stay tuned.
Madam Mwalusaka, we want to know, what role do SMEs play in national development?
Beyond creating jobs and supporting families across the country, SMEs also contribute to the national development through paying taxes. The revenue from taxes help government provide services that benefit everyone, including businesses themselves. For example, the roads help business transport goods. Electricity, power also helps the business. We also have security, which protects the business. Last but not the least, there is education, which is supposed to produce skilled workers. So, when SMEs register and comply with their tax obligations, they are not only building their own business, they are also helping to build the Zambia, our nation.
My tax, your tax, our destiny.
Mayone wakaele Naponga nicho nale vila imbila nsuma Mayone wakaele Ichine chino luselwa lilenkwale Ichine chino luselwa lilenkwale Wamwana mayo bona ishile vanjalukila Vanshita pandala mama 13 kwatika pondo Vampoka nensalu Elo vansho wamba paka valika Wensonyu wingi na shapachalo kubantu mayo Yangu ne mulanda Vamwana mayo bona ishile banjalukila Yangu na famayo Summer. chokobale wilaga twishime abantu bawumalale emitima yalikosa yababa noluse ku bantu banabo bambi benda balikake kishimba mu misana bambi basumira mu malomba nomba inesha kwa mapotu wembe yawe kabirinesha samba kwemiti yawe isumira lyanje ni mwebo mwelesa wanje muchingo wanje ni mwebo
Welcome back. Yes, you're watching Lumen Morning Diary. For those that do miss this show from time to time, this is a lovely platform where you learn more about health. And this health segment is brought to you by Lusaka School of Health Sciences. In the studio, I've been joined by Mr. Rector. The rector of Lusaka School of Health Sciences, Mr. Arthur Mulea. Mr. Arthur Mulea, good morning.
Good morning. Mr.
Sorry, I just
Brenda.
called you Mr. Rector. For those that do not know Rector, Rector is is it the
It's the short form of director.
director?
Yeah, so you take out the DI and remain with rector.
All right, it's not a name on its own; it's a title.
Yeah.
Actually, today on this platform, we are looking at the basic exercises to avoid non-communicable diseases. For those that have been following us through, remember we started this topic, non-communicable diseases, but just to remind the viewers again, examples of non-communicable diseases that are common in Zambia. Mr. Mule.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Recently, we were talking about non-communicable diseases. These are diseases that are not passed on from one person to the other by different agents. The common ones in Zambia are diabetes, commonly sometimes by the community known as sugar disease. Then we have hypertension, or BP, high blood pressure. We also have heart conditions. I think these are becoming so common in the Zambian communities. Then we also have cancers, different cancers. Those are some of the non-communicable diseases that we looked at last time.
All right. So in line with basic exercises to avoid non-communicable diseases as our topic of focus, as we all know, as people know, some know that going to the gym requires membership fee and can be expensive. What other ways can individuals do to keep fit and healthy?
Yes, Mr. Mudenda, the coin has two sides. Here we are talking about the preventive measures that would be undertaken to prevent the non-communicable diseases or the conditions that we have mentioned. The other side of the coin is when somebody is already has those conditions. So those are the two sides of the coin. But here I'm looking at the age group of middle age, those who are 40. You know, they say life begins at 40. Do you know why they say life begins at 40?
No, sir.
They say life begins at 40 because at 40 years, that's the stage of life where economically you are empowered. Maybe you are a manager. Through your work time, you have been promoted and you are able to stand on your own financially. You have financial stability. So those are the times when people can acquire vehicles and many other assets and forget about the most important requirements of our bodies. So I'm addressing the those from 40 years and above, because those are the ones that are leading sedentary lives. They are not active in any form. So they have to do something about their bodies, because our bodies were created to be active. The moment you become inactive, then you are calling for those non-communicable diseases we've been talking about. So indeed, you may not have money to go to the gym. Maybe it's expensive, because now to be a member of a gym club, it costs a lot of money. But we can still do something about it. The number one exercise that is easy for anybody to undertake, which is not costly, very cheap, is walking. Walking is the easiest way to achieve physical health. Now we're talking of people maybe in the 50s, 60s. Can they walk? Yes, they can walk. How about our grandfathers in the village? They don't have access to transport. They walk long distances. So if they do walk long distances, then we can also walk in town where we live in our communities. You can start slow. You can start with maybe 20 minutes, 3 times in a day. Monday, we can say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 20 minutes. And each week you increase by 10. So can you imagine if you increase by 10 minutes after a month or two, how many hours will you be walking? So you start slowly and build up. So walking, brisk walking is one of the best, and it's easier for anybody to do. Then for those who have bicycles, I know when you talk of a 40-year-old, 56-year-old, I can't cycle, but if you have a bicycle, that is also another easy exercise that you can do. Similarly, you can start slowly by maybe cycling 20, 30 minutes, then keep on increasing every week and by the end of the month or 2 months, you would be cycling long distances. So longevity is increased in our lives if we exercise, because we are stimulating the body hormones. We have hormones in the body. The blood can also circulate very well if you activate you activate them by walking, by doing those exercises. Basically, one would say, I don't have all this time to walk. I don't have this time because I'm a busy person. You can still use your time in the morning, because everybody in the morning will take a bath. So the bathroom can be another gym for you at home. Yeah, you can jog on the spot in the bathroom before you take your bath. You can do stretch exercises to stretch your body, your arms, and do push-ups against the wall. All right. As long as you listen to your body, because you don't have to overdo it. Otherwise, again, you may bring problems. At your age, if you are 40, 50, 60, you may sprain yourself. So listen to your body. If it's paining, I think you stop. The other exercise, which is easier, is sitting on usually people, when they go to work, they are seated. So you can walk around your table if you are just within your table, walking. After 10 minutes, stand up, walk a bit to and fro or around your table. It is very important than sitting all the time on your computer, on your laptop in the office. So take breaks for you to walk just within the office, maybe round about your working table, your workstation. Then breathing exercises, deep breathing exercises. You breathe in, holding your breath, and breathing out. You can do it at any time, even at the office, even at home, and those are very, very important exercises, because you are now building your lungs. You know, when you are growing, certain functions in the body start to reduce. So for us to build them up, we need to do exercises. So if you want your lungs to be strong at 50 years, you have to do breathing exercises. Hold your breath. Have you seen some people when they are going up the stairs? It's a problem. They are gasping for air. It's because they are not exercising. So if you do the breathing exercises, they will help you very, very much to build your lungs, and it will help for those around that age group. We have taken working around home for granted. You know, in the past, people were doing some gardening. So gardening can also be another hobby. It can be a hobby, but at the same time, it's giving you physical exercises. Spend time tending to your garden. Have a small garden where you can do a bit of work, and it adds up. Basically, I think those are some of the exercises that you can do. But I think to emphasize the point is, do those exercises when you go for bathing, because we bath every day in the morning. And within the bathroom setup, we can do 10 minutes, 15 minutes, have a shower. After having a shower, then you feel refreshed. It's very, very important. And then for women, sometimes who go to work in their high-heeled shoes, high-heeled shoes also can strain good blood flow or circulation. So it's good that when you go for work, have some pata. Yeah. Keep those at work, so that when you get to work, As you start working, take off the high-heeled shoes and get into your pata-patas so that you can allow the feet to breathe and allow good blood circulation.
Oh, wow. All right, Mr. Mlea, the last question. What advice can you give to those who are already afflicted with such conditions, non-communicable disease?
Yeah, like I said when we started, I said a coin has two sides.
Mm-hmm.
So before you are afflicted,
Mm-hmm.
you prevent by doing these exercises we've just mentioned, the basic ones. It may be not so much, but as long as you keep yourself active in a little way, it adds up. You may not see any improvement, but with time, you have good blood circulation, and your body physically will just be flexible. The other side of the coin is when somebody is already on medication, perhaps for hypertension or for diabetes. Now that we leave it in the realms of the medical doctors to give advice, what kind of exercises you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're already on drugs, for example, and you need to get the doctor's advice, maybe in conjunction with the physiotherapists, qualified physiotherapists, especially for those with the strokes.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who has a stroke, I think they have physical, sometimes difficulties in walking and difficulties in mobility. So you need qualified physiotherapists to prescribe what can you do at home so that you can improve your condition. Similar with those who have diabetes and hypertension, they can be advised. But in the nutshell, basic, simple exercises, even for those who are already afflicted, like cooking, walking, gardening, those are quite basic for them to improve their conditions.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Mlea. All right, our dear viewers, there you have it, this health segment, which is brought to you by Lusaka School of Health Sciences, where we will look at the preventive measures. Do join us next week as we learn more about the preventive side of diseases. For now, we'll go on a short break. We'll be right back.
Pakwisa na mapenga ya kalila na wafwila mamumana bakasangwako mwana lesa pakwisa na mapenga ya kalila mwana lesa mwana lesa pakwisa pakuteke sondelino na mapenga ya kalila mwana lesa pakwisa momulumulya na bangeli bakwe momulumulya pakuteke sondelino na mapenga ya kalila Alachachine te mufimo molumulya mukabeni mbasha malumbo molumulya no tukundu na mashana mapenga ya kalila alachachine mukabeni mbashamalumbo mumulumulya nutumpundu na mashana mapenga ya kalila nabo bafyolose bakasangwako mwana lesa pakwisa na mapenga ya kalila nabo bafa bonse bakasangwako mwana lesa pakwisa na mapenga ya kalila mwana lesa mwana lesa pakwisa mumulumulya nabangeli bakwe mumulumulya bakuteke sonde lino na mapenga ya kalila mwana lesa pakwisa mumulumulya nabangeli bakwe mumulumulya bakuteke sonde lino na mapenga ya kalila alachachine tebufi mumulumulya mukabeni mbashamalumbo mumulumulya notumpundu na mashana mapenga ya kalila
Welcome back. You're still watching Lumen Morning Diary. For those that have just joined us, we are looking at a very important topic, which is the increase on fuel pump prices. I mean oils on the world market. And in case you just joined us, this is where we need to look at the newspaper pick, where we'll start with Daily Mail. Eugene, the newspaper pick for this week has been actually talking about the Youth Day celebration. You know, we had the Women's Day, and just after the Youth Day celebration, we had new appointments in the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Medium and Small Scale Enterprise.
Indeed, Henry.
Eugene, you can pick it up from the with the mast.
So the Mast newspaper, the first story on the Mast newspaper, Munia exposes hell in prison. Inmates bathe naked under watch of female warders. Very interesting story, just to read a bit on this one. Former Rumezi Member of Parliament Munia Zulu has narrated how female prison warders watched as he and fellow inmates answered the call of nature and bathed naked during his time in incarceration. This story continues on page 3 of the Mast newspaper.
Actually, it's one of the stories where I've heard the prison stories coming up and surfacing on the newspaper.
Indeed.
All right, no drugs shortage. HH President orders new Minister of Health to make drugs available. This was happening yesterday at State House, where the President Hakainde Hichilema appointed Solwezi East Member of Parliament Alex Katekwe as new Minister of Health.
All right. I think I talked about that, Henry, when we were just starting. I said the new Minister of Health should consider looking at, the availability of drugs in hospitals.
Yeah.
But also another story on the Mast newspapers, infighting could cost opposition vote. Mukuka. Mushrooming opposition alliances and the protracted infighting among the opposition parties are undermining the public desire for political change, political analyst Dr. Kefas Mukuka has said.
Middle East crisis calls for stronger Sadiq Haimbe.
Just one more story on sports. Mtapa warns against complacency.
Kabesha wants clearly written laws, and PF Pamodzi Alliance not a threat, UPND. These are the stories that we have in the newspaper pick, and do join us next week, Saturday, as we give you more stories on the newspaper pick. For now, we'll go on a short break. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, dear viewers. You are still watching Lumen Morning Diary here on Lumen TV. Not forgetting, it is channel 101 on Topstar. And thank you so much to those of you who are following us via social media. We are talking about Zambia's economic in light of increasing oil prices on an international market. And we received a lot of messages, on social media asking, where is Alice? Where is Alice? Good morning, Alice.
Good morning, Eugene.
And to discuss this in details, we have been joined by Father Dr. Daniel Mwambamtai, SJ, the Executive Director of the Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection. He helps us understand the latest JCTR basic needs and nutrition basket, the state of Zambia's economy and what it means for citizens. Father, good morning.
Good morning, Eugene, and good morning, Alice.
Good morning, Father.
It is very interesting when you reach this point, Father. This is where people keep quiet. You know, when there was a baby who was crying, they want to listen because we are talking about, you know, we are touching their lives directly, Father.
I understand that. Yeah.
Indeed. To start with, Father, the JCTR Basic Needs and Nutrition Basket for February has been released. BNNB shows an increase in the cost of living for the family of 5. What are the key findings and what do they reveal about the cost of living in an average Zambian family today?
Thank you, Eugene. It's good to be here, and as you've pointed out, what we have for February, the data that we picked up, our findings indicate an increase in the cost of living. Okay, this is measured using the basic needs and nutrition basket. And so to be more specific and to zero it down, we're talking about this data we're referring to is for Lusaka specifically. And the increase was to 11,844 kwacha. My friend on the street would tell me, just say 11,900. That's all. Okay. And this was an increase from 11,365. So you can see it's an upward increase. It's a lot of increase. You know, you're talking close to 600 kwacha. That's a lot. You know, that's a lot. You can get a few bags of mirimim from 600 kwacha. It's a lot of money. What is going on? Mostly that increase is as a result of the increase in the cost of food. Okay, rain seasons or lean. Rain season is a lean season, as we say. We know we haven't. Yes, harvests have started, but much slower. So there isn't much food, supply from farmers. We know this happens a lot around this time, around the rain season. The cost of food has gone up. Okay. There are a few reductions here and there for what we call non-essential food items, but that reduction for us was just about 5 kwacha. Again, if you look at 400 versus 5 kwacha, right? We can see why why overall the cost really went up. So for us, this means families are not able to afford because in the same period from January to February. If the cost of food or the cost of basic needs increase that much, the question is, did the incomes increase as well? Probably not. And when we say incomes, we're talking about those who work. We're talking about those who do their own business. Did they raise more as well? Probably not. And so this does send a message that families are struggling to make ends meet. There is a study that we do to complement the basic needs and nutrition basket. We call it satellite home survey, where we just ask families, okay, so this is the cost of living, right? How do you survive? How do you make money? Do you work? Most families or most members of families will say no. Okay, if you don't work, so what happens? Oh, we do a little bit of business here. We sell vitumbua here. We sell this there. We sell charcoal. We sell marash and so forth and so on. Do you make enough? Mostly the answer is no. So how do you survive? And some of the responses are very sobering. We do talk to families that tell us, we have to take turns to eat. We have to let the kids eat, more. And then the adult members or those that are stronger kind of let the kids eat or let those that are not well in the family eat. Look, we can't overemphasize, Alice and Eugene, the importance of nutrition, especially for young kids. Nutrition has huge consequences. It affects their immune system. They are more prone. We know about kwashiorkor, marasmus, the other diseases or conditions that come as a result of malnourishment, but it also affects, the nation, because a healthy nation is a wealthy nation, right? If a nation is not healthy, if the kids who are the future, we say miti kula impanga. Research has shown us how, for instance, that 1,000 days, the first 1,000 days of a newly born, how that can affect even the way they think. how they develop cognitive. So this has huge consequences and impacts. Just that information that you have in front of you. But let's end that saying it shows a sign that families are struggling to meet their ends.
Okay. Further, we hear that Zambia's economy is becoming stable from the perspective of the JCTR and the ordinary citizen. Is this stability being felt on the ground?
Thank you, Alice. And when that statement is used, obviously reference is to some statistics, right? More recently in Zambia, that statement has been used, or that assessment has been used with reference to two important statistics. One is that our inflation has reduced. It is now 7.5. This is good. It's 6. Our target range, Zambia, is 6 to 8%. So this is wonderful. We've met the target. Let's celebrate. Let's enjoy. The other statistic that has been, pointed out more recently in Zambia is that, no, the kwacha is very strong. At some point, it is even the strongest or the highest performing, the best performing currency. Other statistics can be added there, GDP, and so forth and so on. But to talk about stability in the economy is one thing. The impact on the felt impact on the lives of actually ordinary citizens, that's a totally different story. One of them is what we've already referenced, the cost of living. So the kwacha is appreciating, or is it the dollar which is depreciating? There's a debate a little bit there, because generally or globally the dollar has become weak, so the kwacha's strength can be the result of the dollar weakening, or it can be the kwacha itself which is appreciating. Okay, we can get into that debate later, but my point is that what our data shows is that at the same time that the kwacha has been strong, the cost of living has been going up. Okay, so already we can see that we can't quite see the impact there. The other important thing is, employment opportunities, especially for young people. Are they getting jobs as the economy is stabilizing? Is that what has happened in the past 1 year? We can even go further back. Probably not. Are there more drugs in hospitals now? What about schools? Are there more desks in the classrooms? We hear, especially in urban areas, before we even go to our brothers and sisters in rural areas, how many pupils are in one class. It's not uncommon nowadays to find over 100 pupils. If you find 70, that's a small one. One teacher, 70 pupils, that's even small. So you compromise the quality of education, obviously the quality of healthcare. Not so long ago, we heard, how we couldn't pay farmers on time. Okay, so if you pay farmers in December, in January, I don't know, February, what have we just done? We are making them struggle. Those that could afford to borrow from banks did that. But the key here is borrowing from banks and from families. We know that happens, right? The key is borrowing. If you borrow from a business, a loan giver, they'll charge you interest. So should they come to that point as farmers, also, you compromise their ability to produce food which they eat, but also food for the nation. So is it been felt on the ground? Unfortunately, no. Does it take time? It should, but we need to, and this is where policies come in. We need to make sure that inflation, and by the way, when you say inflation has reduced, it doesn't mean the prices of things have gone down. Inflation measures the increase in the cost of commodities or services. But what it is that, think about a car. When I'm in a car, or when you are in a car, for as long as you're driving, the car is moving. Prices are like that. What can change is the speed. So when we say inflation is high, we mean the speed at which things are increasing is high. Obviously not a good thing. When inflation is low, we are not saying the car is not moving. It's moving. The prices are going up, but the rate or the speed at which it is increasing goes down. So I think it's important for many people to understand out there that even when we say 7.5%, it still shows prices are going up. The going has just slowed down, but it is happening. So in terms of our our stability of the economy, or the economy doing or being felt on the ground, no, not yet.
Father, you gave an example of as we were talking about farmers, you gave an example on borrowing. Zambia has been undergoing debt restructuring. How do you assess the country's current debt situation and its impact on the national economy?
So as of September, we were given a figure by Honorable Minister, Honorable Stumbeko in Parliament. We're talking about 23 billion United States dollars, not kwacha. That's what we owe external debt, okay? But there is also internal debt. So this figure doesn't include money that the government has borrowed internally, okay? Mostly through treasury bills and through bonds, So what happens is this, or what has even happened for Zambia, is that when we borrow, money has to be paid back, right? For 2026, if we get to the budget, the plan for the nation, we will see some things that can disturb a person. You step back a little bit and say, wait a minute, did I see this correctly? The amount of money that is going to paying back both external debt, the figure that I quoted, and internal debt, if we bring that amount, if we put the figure together, and please hear me very carefully here, that amount is higher than what we plan to spend on education and health put together. I'm going to say that again. The amount of money that is going to paying debt is way higher than what we plan to spend as a nation on health and on education put together. That tells you where the challenges are. It then means, we can't have, enough health facilities. It means we can't hire as many medical personnel as we would want. For education, it means teachers, it means schools, and so forth and so on. We can keep going. But there is also a portion of the budget where we plan to help, those of our brothers and sisters who need some, who need help, social protection. That figure is even lower. It's even lower compared to what we're spending on debt. So debt does affect us like that. It has very direct and real impacts in our lives. That is why we keep hearing, drug shortages, because in the first place, we haven't allocated as much money as we should. The money goes to paying back the debt.
Okay. The UPN government plans to ask the IMF for another package after the general elections. Is this good for Zambia?
In economics, we have a saying, that when we talk about every measure and every policy, it is like a sword that has got two ends. It's always two sides of the story, right? We've been here before. We just concluded one, and it's important as we get into another, as we think about another extended credit facility, Alice, we need to know what happened. What were the effects? Yes, we talked about economic stability, right? A little bit of inflation is a bit better here. There is some debt restructuring, which I should mention took a really long time. You can't have 4 or 5 years restructuring debt. That's painful. Our families, farmers, young people want employment, cannot wait for that long. Yes, we can say the foreign reserves were built a little bit, some positives here and there. Oh no, the currency stabilized, like I said. But we also know something that we began with on this program: the cost of living went way up during that time that we had the program with the IMF. Like I said, because of reduced, spending on education, on health, then the access to those social services, which are really rights, right? Human rights of economic, social, and cultural rights reduced. Inequality, high debt levels doesn't mean, even if we get on a program, doesn't mean we've solved the debt situation, as it were. Yeah. So some things this side that look like things look bright. But on the other side, in terms of the real impact on the ground, that was a problem when we were with on this program with the IMF. So can we do it better? I hope so. But the real structural issue of debt needs to be resolved.
Further, with global tensions involving the USA, Israel, and Iran, is pushing the oil prices upwards. What effect could this have on the Zambia's economy and the cost of living?
So we don't produce oil, Eugene. So already we have a problem or a challenge, or we anticipate a challenge there. But the production of oil has been affected. Okay, it has been affected. Within the Middle East is a major producer of oil, or supplier of oil, crude oil, and its products globally. So we expect the price of oil to go up, as you've alluded to. If it goes up, then we import oil as a country, right? At some point, the cost of oil will begin to go up. When ERB begins mentioning or announcing those prices monthly, at some point we expect that amount to show that it is shooting up. And then we know how the chain goes. Everything else gets affected. Transport on the street, movement from Charleston to town, from Mutendere to town. Those costs go up. Those who are transporting from the farms, marketeers who are going to pick to buy from City Market or from Soweto Market. Once that cost goes up, then they factor it in the prices. Again, compounding the problem that we already have. We already said for January to February the price went up before the war started. So we expect it. The problem gets even worse. So unfortunately that will happen. But we also need to understand something else, Eugenie. It's not just the price of oil. Countries that support us, that help us, that give us aid, because of that, they will have to reprioritize. They don't just help Zambia or countries in Africa, they help many other countries. Okay? They may end up saying, no, because of war, maybe now we need to spend more money on refugees coming from those places, right? But that also means the money that, the support that they give us might go down. So the effect is not just directly on the price of oil, but there are other effects when countries or systems, global systems that support us, change their priorities because of the situation of the wars. If we are to add beyond, the US-Israel, Iran war, there is the Ukraine-Russia war, which is still ongoing. There is still Israel and Gaza, okay, and then there are many wars that have been forgotten. So that does make the situation even harder and more difficult.
Okay. As the country approaches the 2026 Zambian general elections, do elections have an influence on economy stability and the well-being of citizens? And if so, how?
Yes, Alice, elections do affect the economy. And one direct way in which they do that is that because of election pressure, especially for a government that is incumbent, the pressure to spend, even on things that were not planned, is very high. Why? Promises are made. Okay? All right, so who put this road? It wasn't on the budget, not on the plan. The information comes through that, no. This community or this village or this town, they've been crying about road X, or they've been crying about this market or about that structure. You want to do something to impress, to campaign, right? So that increases unplanned spending. Okay, depending on the promises and what is going on, that unplanned spending shoots up. In the budget, there is always a projection of a deficit. A deficit is money that you won't have. Okay, so we have income, we have expenditure here. So expenditure goes up, and yet, what we raise as a nation to spend still remains the same, right? What's the problem there? The problem is exactly what we're referring to. Money has to come from somewhere. Either you divert the resources from one area to another, or if you can't do that, you end up borrowing again. Okay, so we circle back to the problem that we're referring to. Unplanned spending is very high, and we've been in election cycles as a country before, and we know that happens. Will this year be different? I don't think so.
Further, in conclusion, what would be your word to the government, the private sector, and the citizens of this country?
Yeah, so we are in a very sacred time as a Christian community in Zambia. We call this period as Lent, right? So I just want to appeal to what Lent invites us to. Okay, I want to say that as we go through this period, let's think about those that are less privileged than we are. Let's think about the poor. Let's think about the marginalized. Within the Christian body of teachings, we call that as option for the poor. Let's really think about them as we think about Zambia's development agenda. When we are having those conversations in Parliament, when we are having them in council meetings, in ward development committees, in district development committees, in provincial, in national ones, let's think about those that are really, really affected. When we make those decisions in boardrooms as private companies, or as sole owners or single or in private partnerships, let's think about them. This decision that we've taken in this board meeting, in Parliament, in cabinet, the decision we are making as a ward development committee, as a family, how does that affect those that are, at least the least among us, as the gospel invites us? Let compassion inform policy. Let justice sharpen our national priorities, and let really every citizen be given an opportunity to live a dignified and full life as a Zambian.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Father. Very informative. I know people have learned. Just remind them, Father, how much is the food basket for for 5
So
people?
for 5 people in Lusaka, we're talking about 11,844. As I said, my friend would tell me, just round it off. Okay, 11,850. That's really high because, again, we want to compare the cost to what people earn, whether as individuals, as businesses. Can that match up? This is a family of 5, right? We know some families are smaller than that, but we are Africans. Even if the family at home is smaller, my friends in Zimbabwe and South Africa remind me of, I know we use this in Zambia, but it's more pronounced there. They remind me of black tax, that you still have to pay. We are supposed to, we support our aunties, our parents, our grandparents in villages, or those that don't necessarily live with us. So we know the situation is much more complicated than it is, but that's where we are.
Okay. Well, Father, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure having you on Lumen Morning Diary.
It's a pleasure being here, Alice, and thanks, Eugene, as well. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Father.
Eugene.
All right, our dear viewers, that was, the executive director for the JCTR who was giving us, information that we need to know, especially in connection to what is happening, especially on the state of the Zambia's economy as it stands right now. But up next is the sports with Mr. Vincent Piri. But we go for a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back, dear viewers. You are still watching Lumen Morning Diary here on Lumen TV Zambia. Right now, it is just that exciting moment, the sports segment on Lumen Morning Diary. I've been joined by our very own sports analyst, Mr. Vincent Piri. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Eugene, and welcome, viewers.
It is always a pleasure, Mr. P, to have you on this segment. When people see you like this, and today you are geared. I don't know where you are going. I don't know if you are going to Nkana Stadium to witness Nkana.
Yeah, geared for everything.
Indeed. So, Mr. P, let us, kickstart by looking at the fixtures which we had on Wednesday. Red Arrows beating Kansashi Dynamos by 1-0. Power Dynamos, beating Muza by 4-2. And Napsa Stars losing to Nchanga by 1-0.
Yeah, first of all, Red Arrows winning Kansashi by 1-0. I think that was a game that I think we all expected that Red Arrows are going to win. They were playing at home. They're a big side. And Kansashi Dynamos is a team that is struggling in the Premier League at the moment. So for me, I think Red Arrows deservingly, they won it. Then the other game that you talked about, game played on is it Wednesday or Thursday? Power Dynamos beating Muza by 4-2. Another very interesting game. By the way, Muza were coming from a win against Red Arrows. They won by 2-1 against Red Arrows at their home. And then playing against Power Dynamos, a Power Dynamos side that is doing very well this season. They are a very consistent side, and they won by 4-2. That game, Eugene, one thing that was more interesting is that the goals that were scored. Power Dynamos were able to score 4 goals. This is not something that is common in the Zambian league. Usually teams will score three, maximum usually will be 3, but scoring 4, and to add it all, it was 6 goals that were scored on the day. But again, another very interesting factor is that Moses Shuma, the Kenyan, scored a brace in that game, and that brace took him to 14 goals. Making him the leading top scorer in the Zambian Super League so far.
Mr. Piri, our crew was at Edwin Imbole Stadium where Green Buffaloes drew 1-0 with Zanaco, and they brought us this report. So, dear viewers, let's look at this report and we'll be right back.
Green Buffaloes welcomed Zanaco at the Edwin Imbole Stadium, hoping to secure maximum points in front of their home supporters. After a goalless first half, the host broke the deadlock 4 minutes into the second half. Martin Njovu put Buffaloes ahead in the 49th minute, finishing off a move that gave the home side a deserved lead. But Zanaco refused to give up and kept pressing for an equalizer as the game entered into the final stages. Their persistence paid off in the 86th minute when Elia Mandanji found the back of the net to level matters and rescue a point for the visitors. Zanaco coach Numba Mbamba described the match as tough and praised his players for their determination and fighting back late into the match.
Yeah, a very tough game that we have witnessed this afternoon, where Buffaloes went ahead, but we came out strongly after we made some changes. We dominated play and created chances which could have made a difference. But unfortunately we couldn't convert the crosses that came from the right way. Otherwise, it's a fair result. We are happy with collecting a point here. This has been a very difficult hunting ground for teams to pick points, but at least a point is not bad for us.
Green Buffaloes coach Agrich Yankee, meanwhile, admitted his side continued to struggle in front of goal.
The biggest challenge that we have is scoring. Because if you see, in the first half, we created so many chances. But what we are lacking is a finishing touch. That is what we are lacking. Because if you look, the defense is doing very fine. But the midfield is doing very fine. But again, what we are lacking so much is just the striking force.
The result sees Zanaco move to 5th position on the log table, while Green Buffaloes remain 10th after week 24 of the Premier Super League. Vincent Piri reporting.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vincent, for that report. Your take on this game, Mr. P.
Yeah, interesting, Eugene. Green Buffaloes playing against Zanaco. Very, very tough game. You know, these are local derbies, and anything is possible in such kind of situations. But yeah, if you look at Buffaloes, they scored first, and they allowed Zanaco to come and get an equalizer late in the game. I think this is some of the things that these teams are lacking. You know, when you score a goal, you don't really want to defend and win by just one goal. If you have a chance, just go and get a second or even a third goal. But Zambian teams, they want to defend that one goal and do everything they want to do in order to just get that that result. As a result, ended up being beaten by getting an equalizer, and it ended 1-1. Yeah, so yeah.
Okay, Mr. P, let us look at this week's fixtures after all these results which we have. We have got Nkana playing Green Eagles. We have got Prison versus Red Arrows. Warriors are playing Mtondo Stars. Kansanshi Dynamos are playing Power Dynamos. Moza is playing Mines United. Nchanga is playing Green Buffaloes. Nkwazi versus Mighty Mfrida Wanderers. Zanaco up against Konkola, and Zesco up against Napsa. Which one would you pick, Mr. P, here?
Well, quite some interesting fixtures. I think the top on the drawer there, I think, should be not really a very interesting game, but I think on paper, if you look at Zesco United versus Napsa Stars, I think that it is a very interesting fixture, because if you look at Zesco, this is a team that is a very good side on paper. And Napsa Stars, another seasoned team in the Premier League. But these are two teams that are finding themselves in lower side of the league, and for different reasons, so to say. If you look at Zesco United, they started with their problems. They've got a very good side, but the problems of the field, you know, they had the coach, fired the coach, the technical director, you know, that disturbed the team. And as a result, look at how they are performing. This is a team that went all the way to play in the CAF Confederations Cup, and they did very well in the CAF Confederations Cup. But they are not showing the consistency in the league. But like I said, this is a big team in the Zambian Super League. Napsa Stars, on the other hand, another very big team in the Zambian Super League. But where they are finding themselves also, they've got their own problems that they can talk about. And the two teams are meeting. Zesco United are on 13th, and Napsa Stars are on 15th. So the difference is not so much in terms of their sittings on the table. So this is going to be an interesting game. The winners can just believe that maybe they can get out of the zones that they are trying to leave.
Thank you so much, Mr. Piri, for that information. And before we close, our dear viewers, I want to take you back to 13 years ago when Cardinal Jorge Mario Bergoglio of Argentina was elected Pope. He was the first pontiff from the Americas and the first from the outside Europe since Pope Gregory III's death in the year 741. Pope Francis died on April 21st, 2025 at the age of 88. Let's look at what happened 13 years ago.
Habemus Papam. eminentissimum ac reverendissimum Dominum Georgium Marium, Sancte Romane Ecclesiae Cardinalem Bergoglio.
Fratelli e sorelle, buonasera. Voi sapete che il dovere del conclave era di dare un vescovo a Roma. Sembra che i miei fratelli cardinali sono andati a prenderlo quasi alla fine del mondo, ma siamo qui.
Welcome back, dear viewers. You know, that is what happened 13 years ago, and may the soul of Pope Francis continue resting in peace. And on that note, that is what we could accommodate for you today on Lumen Morning Diary. On behalf of the entire production team, to mention a few: Alice Lungu, Henry Mdenda, Esther Mpanisi on the controls, Mr. Sidin Mwamainda, and Mr. Piri Vincent. It's bye-bye from us.